Finally. Whew. So after the last day of the expo, we went to Mickey's of Glendale and then we went to the parks, because at that point I was like, if you asked me if I had fun, like yes, but also the more that you wanted to do something, the less likely you were going to be able to do it unless you were lucky enough to get the reservation. But even then, by having a reservation section and having a section of people that are in standby, you're cutting your chances, because the people who really want to do this stuff, who are like dying and aching and screaming to do it, they're going to wait on the lines, right? Now that does exclude a lot of your fan base, because there are people who are, you know, casual fans of Disney. Like when we were at the Disney and Pixar on the first day, we met this wonderful woman, and she was kind of just a casual fan. She was like, well, I wanted to see what it was about. And now I understand that, like, that it's been a while, and that before COVID was the last time that they had it, and you know, they were trying to like make sure that everyone was gonna be okay, and they tried to figure it out, but like the blueprint is right there. Comic-Con San Diego had just happened, and all the things that were announced in Marvel at D23 were announced at Comic-Con. They kept repeating in every single panel that I watched, especially the parks panel. These are Disney's greatest fans. I have a D23 Gold membership. I have a duo membership that I share with my friend Daquan. I am the primary source. They had a poster, which is really cute, and they also had a little pop socket that they gave to anybody with a D23 membership. But I feel like the fact that people are willing to pay an extra membership all year should be something that like they cater into a little bit more. No discounts, no nothing. They didn't even have anything in the parks for D23 members. But like, if people are willing to pay for these memberships, cater to them. They want to give you their money. They are here for you. Now, I do know that D23 members get a lot of stuff at Disney Springs, which is in Florida. Disney, all companies, all money is a relationship between people. People are gonna pay for commodities. That's why I paid for Genie Plus. And let me tell you, once I figured it out, I get it. I would recommend that everyone gets Genie Plus, especially if you're going on a day that's really busy and you know what you want to do. Like, we would get on something, we would Genie Plus it, we would get on the line for it. As soon as we scanned in, we were Genie Plusing the next thing. And yeah, the time period thing is weird because you can't really choose it yourself. They choose it for you. But honestly, it worked out for me. I got to go on everything that I wanted to go on. But back to the expo. It's crazy, right? I'm not gonna take that away from like any convention. All conventions are crazy. I feel like, you know, Disney has the potential to do so much more with the things that they have. Like, first of all, the biggest critique that I had was that they should have split up at least Marvel and Lucasfilms. They should not have had that in the same panel. Because again, there's people who got into the panel just to see Marvel, and there's people that got into the panel just to see Star Wars. Star Wars is its own universe at this point, and so is Marvel. There are going to be fans of certain things, and we have to be able to cater to all of those fans. They should all feel important, and that's fine. You're allowed to like Marvel and not like regular Disney stuff and not like the Disney animation. You're allowed to like Star Wars and not like Marvel. But because you kind of put them all together and we're like, well, this is all going to be one thing, you kind of lose a lot of the gist of it. Now, I do like that they had stuff like Walt's Plane and they had the archive stages, but I wasn't even interested in any of the panels, which may have, you know, changed the experience if I had been like, I want to wait on the lines. But at that point, I feel like I'm wasting time because I want to see things, I want to do things, and Disney people are on the move, you know? I would not recommend like a casual Disney fan to go. Maybe if you're a collector, I would recommend for you to go because they had a ton of stuff to buy. If you were just a person that wants to meet other people, that's the perfect event for you, because everyone I met there was amazing. And I mean, first of all, I'm a big Figment fan. I am a big Figment fan, and so many people love Figment there. Like Duffy, all the fans were there. It was like the people that were there loved the stuff that they love. They loved it. After the panel, we went back to California Adventure because now we had the park hopper. So, you know, we already did everything the last day. We kind of just walked around. We went on Web Slingers again because we had the Genie Plus today. So I was like, yeah, why not? It was fun. That day was fun too because, you know, there was a lot of people in the park. There was a lot more people than Boogie Bash, but I just genuinely love that park. And I got churros. And I got to see World of Color! Yay! So that was the thing that I wanted to do, and I was like, oh, I'm probably not gonna be able to see it. Maybe I'll have to come back. I still have to come back because the Matterhorn bobsled was closed. But I got to see World of Color. It was amazing. I have it all recorded on my phone. I cried through the entire thing because I didn't get to see my fireworks, but I got to see World of Color. And it was amazing. Like, it was amazing what they can do with just visuals and some water. And maybe I'll take the time to actually learn how they do that. Actually, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the time to learn how they do that. But World of Color, it felt warm. And I love the Disney fireworks. I'm a Disney fireworks enthusiast. World of Color was amazing. I literally sobbed through the entire thing, like tears streaming down my face. But that was also because I had a beer and a churro before that. So, you know, I was a little emotional. There was a lot of stuff going on in my tummy. The churros, I understand churro culture. That was another thing that I got from this trip. I understand churro culture. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. I'm never dissing the churro ever again. That shit was so good. And the vibe. It works. I get it. I would go back to this park. I would go back to these parks. If I had the money or I lived in California, I would be a key holder. If I lived in California, I would be a key holder. I'd have that magic key. So after we saw World of Color, we went straight into Disneyland and I got to see the fireworks! Yay! Did I miss a little bit of them? Yeah, but that was because of World of Color, so I don't mind it. But we already saw the projection show, so it was the same projection show that we had seen the night before, just with fireworks. And so I got to see it. I was happy. I was delighted, elated. And because when you walk down Buena Vista Boulevard, you can also see it, I basically saw the entire thing. So, you know, I got my fireworks and I was happy. And the only other thing that I didn't get to do while we were there is I didn't get to go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. And so I got to go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. So I did everything. Everything that I wanted to do in the park, I got to do. Except eat a beignet. But that's specifically beef that I have with France in Epcot, which I will talk about in another video. And then I also got to see Fantasmic, which is my favorite show! I love Fantasmic. I was so happy to learn that I get to see Fantasmic. At this point, I'm like, well, it's amazing. It is very much like our Fantasmic. Almost, I don't know if I could tell the difference exactly because I haven't seen Fantasmic in years, like a very long time. But you know, I got to see it. I was happy. It looked beautiful. Looked beautiful. And it was, we saw it at Tom Sawyer's house because I didn't want to see it because we don't have Tom Sawyer's house like that. So I wanted to see it there and that was cool. And then we got to finish, you know, my last day at Disney and I cried when I got back to the hotel. That was until the flight. That night we had a little bit of a problem because they tried to kick me off the flight. So they kicked my seat off of the flight at LAX and Daquan was not having it. So he called and had them switch my seat over to SNA at Anaheim. They put us on a flight together and it was flying about the same time. We packed everything up in the morning. So our flight got delayed. Luckily we had TSA pre-check, so we slid through. That airport's less hectic. We flew from Newark, so we're used to hectic. We're sitting, I'm eating Starbucks because I was starving. And so the flight got delayed. And then it didn't get delayed, it got redirected. So we ended up flying to Cleveland and then we flew to Newark because there was storms and they were like, we don't want you guys to be in danger. And I was like, cool. And so we got on the flight. The first half of the flight was okay. We flew to Cleveland. They refueled at Cleveland. Houston, we had a problem. So apparently something happened to one of the flight attendants. Now this is the first alarming thing. Luckily the pilots, kings, icons. They were honest with us the whole time. They kept us in the know the whole time. Anytime they knew anything, we knew something. We have an emergency landing. We fly back to Cleveland. At first we needed to wait for a gate because we didn't have a gate. When we got the gate, they needed a mechanical crew to check the plane to see if there was a problem with it. Because apparently one of the doors wasn't closing. We couldn't fly because you know, everyone would have experienced hypoxia and that would have not been a good time for anyone. They checked the door. They were like, okay, maybe we won't have to move you off the plane. Psych. We're gonna have to move you off the plane. So everyone grabbed their stuff and got off. They moved everything to another plane. So we're all waiting to board. The new plane has no food or Wi-Fi. So once I got on the plane and we took off, I couldn't even text my family that I was gonna be so late. And my sister was fuming because she had work the next day and she ended up not being able to get home until 3 a.m. when we were supposed to land at 8. So we got on the plane. Landing was horrible. Like I had a cross on my neck and I was praying. Like we were flying through a lightning storm, which we could have missed if we had just flown straight through. And the mechanical failure that happened when we were refueling, we could have avoided if we would have just flown straight through. But again, I'm not a pilot. I don't know these things for sure. This is just my humble opinion. So of course now I'm fuming. I'm almost so mad that at this point I can't stand it. And we land by the grace of literally everything in the universe. We land we landed. It was another process because when we landed, we didn't have a gate and all the gates were backed up. So we basically had to land and wait in line because they had closed all the gates. So none of the planes could get a gate. So we had to wait behind those planes. So we landed at about 1 o'clock or so. When we got out of the plane, it was about 2:30ish. So we went straight to baggage claim. Well, we got our bags and we were ready to go. We were done. At this point, I think everybody that was on our flight was just done. And I was a little alarmed because I think I was having an existential crisis about how I could have, you know, I worst case scenario things. So I was immediately worst case scenario. I did get into my sister's car and she drove Daquan home and she drove me home and she was pissed. But I was safe, so I'm grateful. And that was basically my whole trip. I have never felt more inspired to do stuff. I am like exhausted, but I'm happy. I feel really, really grateful and I wanna do more and do better. So thank you for watching. If you like this, please subscribe, talk to me, comment, hit that little ring button for when I do more stuff because I plan to do more stuff. And you know, tell me if you like Disney. Tell me what you like and I'd love to talk about it. Thank you for listening. If you got through this, thank you. I really appreciate that. Anyway,